Let's take a look at the chart action for Facebook or Meta. The ticker symbol is FB. I kind of just wanted to look at this because I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that the chart was going down, and I was like, whoa, this thing looks pretty hardcore. So let's go to the weekly time frame, and I think we could get a better look at this. And I had this chart set up the last time I was looking at it. Let's go ahead and delete it. Like I was looking at though, we had an uptrend like this. Let's go ahead and change this color. We broke this going to the downside, and ever since then it's been trending down something like that. So until it breaks this trend line going to the upside, I'm thinking that it's trending down, or we might get some volatility, maybe something like that. I don't know where we're going to get a bounce though, or where the bottom is going to be. That is kind of one of the things that I wanted to check out. We have support right here, support right here. We're on the weekly time frame. You could also argue once we jump into the monthly time frame, and we could probably do that right now. If we do this, we could also argue we could use this bottom down here. So let's go ahead and do a trend line going to the upside, something like this, because it was in a big uptrend like this. Let's go back to the weekly and see how those line up. See, these line up pretty good. This trend line lines up pretty good with that line. So what I'm thinking is, it looks like we're getting pretty close to this trend line right here. Maybe you could argue you could drag it down a little bit, something like that. I think if I mean, it looks like we're coming up close to this trend line right now. Let's see. I'm kind of curious if it's going to get a bounce right here, and let's see how much it's dropped since, I mean, even just this candle from here to there. Let's see what this is. This is around 28% in a matter of a couple weeks. Pretty intense. And there's some pretty good red volume. Like I said, I'm kind of curious if we're going to get a bounce, if it's going to get a bounce right here. I'm not invested in Facebook. I'm not even really interested in it. I just am looking at this chart for fun. But I'm kind of interested, or I'm kind of curious if it's going to get a bounce right here, or if it's going to break through and go lower. What I would be looking at if it went lower, I'd probably do horizontal lines, maybe something like this, possibly. Those were the bottoms that I can see, the next bottoms, the next previous bottoms. So if we break this trend line going down, I think I'd be looking at these spots right here. This is sitting around 124, the bottom, and then 148. And then this trend line right here is sitting at around, let's see, where is this? Maybe 184, 185 approximately. Just depends. Let's go back to the daily time frame and see what it's doing. The other thing I wanted you to notice, or the other thing I noticed, should I say? So we have a gap down. Usually when it creates these gaps right here, it usually goes back up to the bottom. I would say right here at around maybe 294. It's possible that we get a bounce, maybe come back up here, and then I don't know. Like I said, until we break this trend line going to the downside, it's possible we get some volatility. I don't know, maybe I'm just used to crypto, but I'm thinking that it's possible that we come back up and have to retest this. It's possible we get rejected on it. Who knows what happens? I say we, but like I said, I'm not invested in this. I'm just kind of curious, and I thought it was interesting how it got a big drop to the downside. In general, if you zoom out, it's on a big uptrend right here, and it's bouncing on this trend line. Let's see if it continues to bounce, cruising to the upside. This is also another example of why these trend lines are pretty good to watch. If we were watching something like this, we got support, came down, got support again. That's what created the line. Then when we broke it right here, well, we started to test it, kind of started to get a trend down in general. I would draw this trend line right here from these resistances, and then that's why I like watching these trend lines as well. We have an uptrend. Once we break it, then we set up our downtrend, and then we watch for a break in that one. As long as it's going down, we want to look for support levels. This would have been a support that I would have been kind of watching, and this one right here is the next one, is the bottom pretty much. After that, you could look at previous bottoms, or we could look at all the bottoms and kind of get an average and do a trend line, and then that's what gives me this spot right here. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree. If you're new to the channel, check out this video right here. It's about buying and selling, and it kind of goes over some of the stuff that I talked about in this video. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, and I can see you in the next one.